Imagine this, a small Transylvanian village, hidden between rolling hills, where every stone, every tower, every story whispers of the past. Welcome to Biertan, Romania. Here in Biertan, time hasn't stopped. It's been carefully preserved. This is a place where medieval love stories were saved by a prison, where a door invented in the 1500s could impress even engineers today, and where faith and fortresses went hand in hand. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments which town or village you'd like me to explore next. So let's start this journey together. Let's go back almost 800 years. The year is 1224. A document known as the Andrenium records one of the earliest mentions of Saxon settlements in Transylvania, among them Biertan. These Saxons weren't originally from Romania. They were colonists, invited by King Gaza II of Hungary in the 12th century. They came from areas that are today France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany. The king wanted them here for two reasons: to defend the region from invaders like the Tatars and Ottomans, and to bring prosperity with their skills as farmers, craftsmen, and merchants. By 1283, Biertan appears again, this time alongside Medias and Mosna. These three towns weren't just neighbors, they were rivals. Each one wanted to be the administrative center of what was called the Two Seats. And how did they compete? By building bigger, more beautiful, more impressive churches. This medieval competition gave us monuments that still stand today. Walking through Biertan today, you can still feel the hand of those Saxon settlers. The village is organized around a central square, a feature you'd see in German and Frankish towns. Rows of colorful houses with pastel facades surround you. Thick walls, strong stone foundations, wooden beams, built to last. Take a closer look at the houses. Many are decorated with carved wine motifs. That's because this was wine country. Vineyards surrounded the village, and wine was so important it became part of the very identity of Biertan. By the year 1510, this was a thriving market town of around 5,000 people. Imagine the square filled with merchants shouting their prices, farmers selling vegetables, butchers cutting meat, children running between stalls. Today it's quiet, but if you close your eyes, you can almost hear the echo of the medieval market. At the very heart of Biertan stands its greatest treasure, the fortified church. Construction began in 1493 and lasted until 1522. That's nearly 30 years of effort by skilled builders, artists, and craftsmen. The result? A masterpiece of late Gothic style, with touches of Renaissance and Baroque. But this wasn't just a church. It was a fortress. Imagine 3 rings of defensive walls, 9 towers, and several bastions, all designed to protect not just faith, but the villagers themselves. In times of danger, people could take shelter here, safe behind the walls. The church is dedicated to Saint Mary, and inside it holds wonders. One of them is the sacristy door, built in 1515. This door has a locking system so advanced it could engage 19 bolts with just one turn of the key. In fact, this mechanism was so ingenious it won a prize at the Paris World's Fair in 1889, over 370 years after it was built. Another treasure is the altar, the largest multi-paneled wooden altar in all of Transylvania. 28 painted panels, telling biblical stories in vivid color. Even today, they remain almost unchanged. And then there's the Mausoleum Tower, the resting place of bishops. You see, from 1572 until 1867, Biertan was the seat of the Saxon bishopric. For 300 years, the most important religious leaders of the Saxons lived and worked here. That's why the fortress had to be so strong. It wasn't just a local church, it was the spiritual heart of an entire community. But perhaps the most unusual feature of Biertan is not its altar, nor its fortress walls, but its so-called lover's prison. Inside one of the towers, there's a small room, teeny, dark, cramped. For 300 years, couples who wanted a divorce were sent here. For up to 6 weeks, they had to live in this space. And everything inside was shared. One bed, one plate, one cup, one chair, one blanket. No privacy, no escape. It sounds harsh, doesn't it? But here's the surprising part. It worked. Records show that in all those centuries, only one couple ever went through with a divorce after leaving this prison. Today you can step inside. There are mannequins showing how it looked, with a small bed and single plate. It's funny but also fascinating, a kind of medieval couples therapy that no modern counselor could ever suggest. Of course, Biertan's history wasn't only peaceful. In 1397, it was first recorded as a fortress. And in 1704, despite its strong defenses, it was taken by surprise by the curates, rebel forces during the Hungarian uprisings. They plundered the fortress, stole religious treasures, and even desecrated the bishops' crypts in search of gold. It was a dark moment, but the community endured. They rebuilt, they restored, and the fortress became stronger. That resilience is part of what makes Biertan's story so powerful. Biertan wasn't only Saxon. By 1733, there were also Romanian families living here, about 35 in total, around 165 people. They didn't have their own church at first. Later, in the 19th century, Orthodox and Greek Catholics shared one church, until disputes eventually split them apart. This tells us something important about Transylvania. It has always been a mosaic. Saxons, Romanians, Hungarians, different cultures, different faiths, all living side by side. Life in Biertan wasn't only about fortresses and bishops. It was about daily work, traditions, and community. Saxons here were famous for their craftsmanship: woodworking, blacksmithing, weaving. The village square was once filled with artisans selling their work. Even today, during the tourist season, you'll find artisans and beekeepers displaying honey, candles, and handmade souvenirs. These traditions keep the spirit of the village alive. And let's not forget wine. The vineyards around Biertan produced excellent wine, and you'll still see reminders of that legacy in the house decorations. If you come here today, don't miss the chance to try a glass of local wine. It's part of Biertan's soul. After communism collapsed in 1989, many Saxons emigrated to Germany. In 1977, Biertan had more than 1,600 Saxon inhabitants. By 1992, only 280 remained. And yet, the village hasn't lost its charm. UNESCO recognition in 1993 brought new attention, and now visitors from around the world come here to admire the fortress, the square, the atmosphere. Walking these streets today, you feel suspended between two worlds, the medieval past and the modern day. Of course, no Transylvanian village would be complete without legends. Stories of hidden treasures stolen by the curates, of bishops' crypts and mysterious documents, of the prison that saved marriages. In Biertan, legends aren't just stories. They're part of the very identity of this place. And maybe if you walk here at night, past the fortress walls, you'll still feel the echo of those centuries-old tales. And that was our journey through Biertan. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and share it. It really helps me grow this channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment. Which city or village should I visit next? This was actually the 5th video in my Transylvania series. I'll leave links in the description to the other 4, so you can continue the journey with me. Until next time, keep exploring, keep traveling, and I'll see you in the next video.